Lonely Planet and technology. I think we've had a reputation of being an early adopter of technology, and I think it's probably fairly true. I think a lot of this, I have to give credit to Jim Hart, our former partner, that he had a computer background and he did sort of kick us into it fairly early on. But we did, once we'd seen the value of it, and I personally, the first time I sat down in front of a computer, back in the sort of the CP/M days, before MS-DOS, I mean, I'd done at university, I'd done the punch card sort of computers, it shows how old I am. But when the microcomputers came up, it took me 5 minutes to realize how good this was and the value it had for producing books. And I think that we saw that earlier than a lot of other publishers, and we had all our books on disk. And now, of course, they're on a lot more severe systems than that. But we had things electronically held and so on much earlier than a lot of other publishers. And we followed that. We've had a website fairly early on. All of everybody everywhere, and the authors and everything else are all linked together. I think we are still fairly cutting edge, and there's lots of things we're doing that are fairly cutting edge. But on the other hand, I'm a little bit of a cynic about it. I never got onto the whole .com thing. I was a cynic about that the whole time, and you know, people said, "Oh, yeah, aren't you wise? You've been proved right on a lot of this." But I don't think it was necessarily that. It was just my natural cynicism. And I'm still cynical about it. There's still things there are still .com things that are floating, which I do not believe in at all. I just think, you know, this is a myth, and they are defying gravity. And one day, some people are going to burn their fingers on. A lot of people have burnt their fingers already. But nevertheless, we've still got a website which is very popular, and we've still put a lot of effort into it. And I would defend it to the death to continue putting. So I don't know where it's going to go, but it's going to go somewhere. I mean, I'm very fond of I go around with my Palm Pilot everywhere, and I'm very fond of GPS. I mess around with GPS a lot. We can see this doing wonders for our mapping at some point. And I often sort of hold up the three things, you know, the mobile phone, the Palm Pilot, and the GPS, and say, well, there's the travel guide of the future. All we have to do is fuse those three things into one. It's going to happen. It may happen this year, it may happen in 5 or 10 years' time, but obviously it's going to happen. And if you're a company involved in this, then you've got to be aware of what it's doing and be practicing for how it may be used at some point.